Welcome to this week's edition of Leather and Laces Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. We're going to do an immaculate grid, figure out who we think is going to win the Heisman, and can Kyler Murray overcome his Call of Duty addiction?
I do find it funny that every time a new Call of Duty is released, he just can't play.
He's out there to prove something, man. There is no way he's going to blow this game and look. I mean, we'll dive into it in the NFL, but I think that was a cheap shot by whoever made this outline. So I can tell you that.
Except it's probably backed up by his play in Call of Duty releases.
Yeah.
There are maybe some facts.
It's a new season.
The Falcons are going to win this game.
New season.
But Reese, why don't you start us off by describing what exactly an immaculate grid is?
So this is going to be a website, and it's basically a 3x3 box. And it's going to contain either a stat, an achievement by a player, and it's also going to contain a team. So for this one on the x-axis, we have the Raiders, the Jaguars, and someone who's had 1,000 or more yard receiving season. On the y-axis, we got to pair those up with someone who's played for the Patriots, Seahawks, and Saints.
Do you want to start with the easy one?
And the goal is to get the rarest player.
So each time you pick somebody, there is a percentage next to it. So for 1,000-yard receiving, if you put like
Julian Edelman.
Yeah, Julian Edelman for the Patriots, that would be a really high percentage one because everybody's going to pick it. Or if you put Randy Moss, it's probably going to be a pretty high percentage. So you're going for the most rare, the one that most people wouldn't think of.
Right.
So with that, I think we probably should start with 1,000-yard receiving just because it's a little easier than trying to match up who's been on which teams.
Yeah.
So let's go with the Patriots since we already named two that we probably don't want to use.
I also thought of Gronk, but that's probably a likely one as well.
Did Deion Branch get a 1,000-yard season?
What year?
Early 2000s, right?
That's over my head for Patriots.
Say that again.
Deion Branch, 1,000-yard year, Patriots.
I'm not positive on that one.
Let's see.
We have someone to fall back on, so.
I got one for the Patriots Raiders. If I'm sure people have already figured it out.
What do you got?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
No, Jacoby Myers.
I was gonna say Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah,
that's that's probably a better one. Brian Hoyer. Yeah,
Let's see what percentage we got.
that's better.
5%.
Nice.
Anything under
10.
10 is good. Anything under 20 is okay.
Anything under 1 is you are the
Very
man.
good.
Yeah.
Did Danny Amendola ever have 1,000-yard receiving at the Patriots?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I feel like those guys I was talking
Welker?
about in
Wes
that
Welker?
era. Yeah, he did. I think the Deion Branch, that era, they probably just hovered right around 1,000, but I don't know if they.
I think of
got
all
to
the guys
1,000.
we've said so far, Wes Welker's probably the rarest, especially over Gronk. Gronk, I think, would be the second rarest.
Well, now they have to have done it with the Patriots, right? Because that's where we get confused.
Yes.
Okay.
We may need to revisit, looking at the rules on that because I think we had a weird one the other day where it's somebody that's playing for the Patriots that has a 1,000-yard season, in which case you could say Juju.
Mm-hmm.
Let me spot check that.
Let's see.
James White went on a tear, man. You know, the way he was
1,000
catching
yards.
those passes, man. I know he got nowhere close. But him and Shane Vereen, dude, I'm telling you. Danny Woodhead, yeah. But no, I think Wes is going to be our best, safest answer.
So for the team and season stat, the player must have recorded that stat while on the team.
Okay.
Wes is probably
So
the best. Yeah.
I say Wes Welker. 20%. That's not bad.
For that,
That's
yeah,
honestly not bad.
horrible. Yeah.
For the Saints, do you think people would think Jimmy Graham?
Maybe. I was thinking for the Seahawks, who's their all-time receiver? Can't remember. He was like...
It was Joe Horn, isn't it?
No. Steve Largent?
That's Seahawks.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Seahawks.
Oh, Seahawks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you have 1,000 yards?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Oh, Joe Horn for the Saints. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
18%?
Okay.
That's higher than I thought it would be.
He's like up there with Jerry Rice. I mean, it's like
The Saints, I said Jimmy Graham. We don't want to do the obvious one of,
Michael Thomas.
Michael
Yeah.
Thomas.
Marquez Colston, Joe Joe Horn, probably. Yeah.
I think Joe Horn would be, of the ones we said so far, would probably be the best.
Did Archie have a go-to guy?
Oh gosh, that's before my time.
Did
I know y'all don't believe that, but
who was like Drew Brees' main go-to guy before Michael Thomas?
Did Ted Ginn ever have 1,000-yard receiving? I know he had that. I know he had one
maybe
year
with the Panthers.
I know he did for the Panthers because he was Cam's go-to guy because he was the best wide receiver on a very bad wide receiver group for the Panthers.
Oh man,
I got
I
nothing.
think probably Horn or
I say we do Horn.
Colston. Yeah.
Joe Horn. 12%. Not bad.
Okay.
All right. Jaguars, Patriots. That was going to be a tough one.
James Robinson.
Is he on the Patriots?
I don't know if he ever played.
Yeah,
He has to
is the
play.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well then.
Or he had very limited touches as because I think he did maybe 1 week.
Was there a backup quarterback?
Chad Henne.
Where did Blake Bortles all
But-
play for? Jags,
Rams.
Rams.
I got one for the Saints and Raiders.
What you got?
I know people are saying probably Derek Carr at first, but the tight end that dropped it, the Foster guy.
Oh,
Foster
Monroe.
Monroe.
Yeah.
Because he was with him there.
Foster. Moreau.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's him. Yeah, he's there.
6%.
Nice
All
one.
right.
Clutch.
Clutch.
Go on.
This is probably our best one that we've done so far. Raiders, Seahawks.
Marshawn's easy, but
So we got to fall back on that one.
yeah.
gosh, there's another one that's not coming to mind, but Raiders, Seahawks.
Man, that's tough.
Let's come back to that one since we have a backup.
Yeah.
Saints, Jaguars. Trying to think backup quarterbacks.
Did Sean Alexander ever play for the Raiders?
Sean Alexander?
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't think so.
know why I have a picture. I feel like I've seen him in a Raiders uniform, but that could just be a different thing.
Jaguars, Saints.
Teddy never played for the Jaguars, did he? Bridgewater?
No, he
Not
never played
Dolphins. Yeah,
Jaguars.
he plays for the Dolphins.
It's one of those Florida teams.
Yeah.
Surely there's like a kicker or something. Well, no, they had Lutz for forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably not it.
Julius Thomas was just Jags and Broncos, right? He was never part of the Saints.
I have no idea.
I feel like there's a running back too.
I'm trying to think old school on this, and I'm not coming up with anything.
Seahawks, Jaguars. That one I want to say Chad Henne, and I'm almost sure that I'm right on that.
Hey,
Yeah. Give it a
for
go.
it, yeah.
Because I know he's on the Jaguars. And I'm
I think he was on the Seahawks at some point.
almost positive he was on the Seahawks.
Back at quarterbacks.
Did
Tossed around.
Hasselbeck ever play for the Raiders? Just Seahawks Raiders?
I don't remember him being. I know he was at Seattle, but I don't remember him at the Raiders.
All right, we're gonna go Henny here. See what
Cross
Drew's
your
got.
fingers.
All right, missed it. It's all right.
If only it was Seahawks Saints, it would be Jimmy Graham. That'd be easy.
Jags Patriots. There's got to be a receiver, right?
Or running back, the way we had Patriot running backs coming through there.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones, who's Lions and Giants. No, that's Kenny Galladay I'm thinking of.
Was there a Georgia running back that played for both?
Sonny
Sonny
Michel
Michel
played
never
for the
played for the
Patriots and the
Jags.
Rams.
Yeah.
LeGarrette Blount, was he Patriots,
Lions,
Eagles, Lions?
This one's tough.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and throw
Pretty tough.
Marshawn in.
Dude, go James Robinson.
For the Patriots?
Patriots, Jags. I do think he played.
Nope.
Yeah.
No?
Nah, he never played.
He's out of the league in 2022. All right. What's the over-under on Marshawn's percentage?
I was like
I'm gonna
50.
say 60.
60s.
61.
Yeah.
All right. We got to get one, and then we get our score. We can move on to college football. Calais Campbell ever play for any of those teams? Patriots, Seahawks, Saints? He went from the Jags to the Ravens. Is he still on the Ravens?
Yeah, he's in the Falcons.
Oh. Interesting.
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
The problem here is the Jags. Nobody pays attention.
Yeah,
to
right.
plays
That's
for
the only
Jags.
column we don't have. Yeah.
I was trying to think kickers. Like,
Yeah,
I
I was
don't,
trying to think
again, I don't know
punters,
any kickers that ever
yeah.
play for the Jags.
I don't even know the current Jag kicker.
Is it the Brandon guy?
McManus, yeah.
McManus.
He was the
played for
Saints
the-
a long time, Kerry. Didn't they have somebody
Lutz.
before
Yeah.
him?
Gosh, who was the? I should know this, but who was the lefty quarterback at the Jags that took them to the Super Bowl? Why am I'm blanking on this?
The Jags to the Super Bowl?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you're talking about the AFC Championship?
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
they went to the
Yeah,
Super
one-
Bowl one year, didn't they?
Not recently.
No, not
Not like in
recently.
the past 20 or so years.
No.
But it was like a recent. They were in the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles. That
no, this was before that.
okay.
This might be a dumb question, but Doug?
No,
Doug.
I'm gonna have to Google it after this. I'm
yeah,
not, I'm not
Doug
cheating.
on the Patriots.
Yeah.
He was in. Wasn't he also on the Jags?
Let's try it.
I think because I know he was on the Patriots because he did that drop kick for them one
Yeah.
time.
I really want to know that who you're talking about.
No.
Wow. All right,
right.
so we're starting the bar at 421.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we'll have to beat that
week.
next week.
Shouldn't be too tough. Let's just hope we don't have the Jags.
Yeah. All right. College football. What do you think what the biggest game was for college football?
Biggest upset was Clemson, Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Connor, what are your thoughts?
It was great. I mean, us at home, I think 11 a.m. games are the best for us. I guess 12 p.m. their time. Those early games for Clemson are our best chance as of late. And Notre Dame, I was kind of feeling good about this game just because Notre Dame really hasn't looked the best. I mean, but after the season Clemson's having, they were at 4-4 come into this game. It was huge to get that win. I mean, Cade didn't even look that good, but he made the right passes. I think he had one interception, I want to say, but I'm not sure. But most likely, I mean, he had the really good passing yards and completion rate. Our running back, Will Shipley, was out. That's like our best player. So I didn't even know that till the game time.
Is it number 7? Other running back?
Oh,
He's a big dude, man.
yeah. I'm spacing
It's
on
like
his
a
name.
slower Derrick Henry.
He did great.
He's really good though.
What is his name?
I think he went to the high school in the area that I grew up in, Georgia.
Maffa.
Yeah.
He had 180. He had 36 carries,
Dang.
186 yards,
Big
and 2
dude.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
But Will Shipley was out, which was a big oof for us. But I mean, he's been doing well this season actually, because he's been getting split carries pretty much, and he's good. So
Do y'all think y'all build off of this for next season, or?
I mean, that's the only thing we can do. Obviously, make a bowl game. People are saying that we're going to be playing Oregon State, which would make perfect sense
That'd be
against
fun.
DJ.
That'd be a good game.
I would love that. But yeah, I think a big win. I mean, hopefully, I want to make sure we beat South Carolina with Spencer Rattler. I know they're being terrible this year, but we're not doing great either. So if we can beat them in the rivalry and then win that bowl game going into next season, that'll be really good for us.
Slower Derrick Henry. That was a compliment, by the way.
Yeah.
Not many people
Oh.
are as fast as he is in it, but yeah. So
Maffa was great.
for the record.
But yeah, Phil Maffa. That is his name.
Did you all see the end of the Kansas State Texas game?
I did not.
So
Fill us in.
it came down. It was it went to overtime at Texas, Kansas State at Texas, and so they Kansas State went for it on 4th and goal to try and get the win instead of taking a field goal, and they didn't get it. Even though the entire 4th quarter, Kansas State was rolling. So there was some controversy of if they should have gone for it at all, or if you just, kick the field goal, which their kicker did miss 2 field goals in regulation, but he did make the 40-something to push it into overtime. So
Wow.
it's kind of a bold
Yeah.
take to do that.
It's been the case just across college and pro football. I mean, coaches are making very risky moves, which I like, but hasn't always aligned with what the game plan was dictating.
I know hindsight's 50-50, but I feel like if they don't go for that, I think they win that game.
Thank you, Pat Dye.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So Georgia won again.
Shocker.
I know the score was 30-21, but pretty pleasing performance, I think, because Missouri's played them very closely the last 5 or so years.
Yeah,
No
Missouri's
matter
a
how
good
good or
team.
bad they've been, which they have an incredible team. I mean, for them to be ranked 16, not something I've seen too much of in my lifetime, but they're finding ways to win. It seems like it's a new guy every week, especially with Bowers out, which is what you love to see, because you got to think once they can add him back, that's going to be complete. That's just, icing on the cake. But big test this week at Ole Miss, or is it at Georgia?
Is that Georgia?
It's at Georgia against Ole Miss. I think them in Tennessee is going to give them a run for their money, but if they can keep chugging away, I know they got a team in the West to worry a little bit about.
Who is Missouri's only loss coming into this?
Was it Kentucky? Or they beat Kentucky?
I think they beat Kentucky.
They're LSU, 49
Oh, and it was
39.
it was a close game.
So they have a really good team. I mean, at this point, when you can get, especially against a Missouri, then Ole Miss, then Tennessee, I mean, you take it. Doesn't matter if it's by 1 or by 9, 11, doesn't matter.
Does anyone understand why Ohio State was number 1?
No,
Nope.
no.
Like,
Well, I mean, strength of schedule, sure, but
the voters went out of their way to unseat Georgia. Like, and I'm not a Georgia fan, but
Yeah.
I felt like they should have left them where they were at.
yeah.
I don't know why.
I didn't
They're
want to be the
stirring
one to
pot.
bring it up, but yeah, that was,
You didn't want to seem biased.
come on.
Texas A&M, Ole Miss. It was happening at the same time that the Kansas State Texas game is, or was happening. It also went into overtime. Or no, it was they were trying to force it into overtime, and it was a very close game.
That was a good game. I was watching that one, and it just kept going back and forth. The Ole Miss wide receiver, Harris.
Trey Harris,
Yeah,
200 yards receiving.
fantastic game. And he also had one play that was incomplete out the back of the end zone that he just one-handed, across his body. He had a stellar game.
I mean, for the Aggies to be in that game with a backup quarterback on the road, I know it's Max Johnson who is an
Is a
SEC
starter.
starter.
Yeah.
Like he really should be. But I mean, that's impressive. He put up 300 yards passing.
Mm-hmm.
But Quinton Judkins is going to be
Yeah,
a beast in the NFL.
we knew that going into the year, but yeah, dude, especially in that offense at Ole Miss.
Do you think he gets taken as high as Bijan?
I don't think so.
I think people are starting to learn their lesson with taking running backs that high again.
Oh,
It's
I
you've
don't
got
know
to
if I'd
have
say
somebody
that,
that's
but-
an every down running back to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's got to be a Saquon or at the time a Zeke.
Yeah.
I think Bijan can and should be an every down back.
I think
but
he should too.
I will hold my fire.
I think what the
Until
Lions
later
and
in
the
the
Falcons are doing with their running backs. I know Gibbs had a stellar game last week.
But that's only because Montgomery's hurt. Otherwise, similar to the Atlanta standpoint, they're going to be splitting carries.
But I mean, if I'm the play caller or if I'm the coach and you have 2 above average running backs and one's cheaper and you can put a little more miles on them, if you can extend the prime of a Gibbs or a Robinson, like they may not be putting up the stats right now, but 2-3 years down the line, when they still got more miles on them than anybody else in the league,
they might just be waiting till the playoffs or to make a playoff run with their more explosive guys.
Well, so think of it from a financial standpoint too, though. If you're keeping somebody from racking up not only miles, but you're also keeping them from racking up yards, which means that they're not going to have the stats to justify a bigger paycheck.
The bonuses, yeah.
So, you're from a financial standpoint, it makes sense all the way around. You're protecting guys, but you're also protecting your pocketbook.
That can also go both ways, though, because if you're not getting them the playing time that they think they deserve, they could walk in free agency.
True.
So,
Now, do I think it's financially smart to draft a running back that high? No. But I feel like Bijan is one of those where you take the chance. Obviously, they aren't using him in that way yet, hopefully. But I don't know. I guess it's old school me. I just like putting the ball in the best player's hands. So
Like Kyle Pitts.
I was trying to be cool, guys.
so for Texas, do you think that they can? Do you think with Oklahoma losing, do you think Texas can make it into college football playoffs? Because I felt like for them to make it, for either Oklahoma or Texas to make it, they were going to have to win out for the rest of the year until the championship game. And so now I think a Texas win with a rematch over Oklahoma, I don't think that's enough to throw them into the top 4.
I thought they were going to be the ones that were left out.
Especially when the best one-loss team is Oregon, and Oregon really shouldn't be an any-loss team.
I mean, Alabama looked pretty good, too. So
Which one's the better one-loss team?
Oregon and Alabama?
Yeah. I know who the voters probably go for.
And
They'd rather see Alabama.
I'd go toss up there. I'm gonna be
Yeah, I
honest.
mean, it's close.
I think Alabama's probably got the better roster.
The thing is, Oregon has a much easier path to the top 4 than Alabama does. Alabama has to beat Georgia.
Well,
and
they
that's the
certainly-
end of
Well,
story.
they got to beat Washington. I mean, that's no easy from what we've seen.
Well, it was a close game on the road for Oregon. You put it at a neutral site. I think Oregon wins by 10. They blew the doors off of Cal at Cal.
I mean, they still got to play USC and then last game of the year, Oregon State. So, I mean,
Alabama
they run the table. That'll be
Alabama still got to play Auburn.
all right. Podcast off the rails.
I mean, coming in, going
at
into Jordan
Auburn.
Hare is
I'm a little
not
worried.
easy.
As long as Milrow runs the ball, I'm not as worried. Like, he had 4 rushing touchdowns.
Glorified running
great.
back.
Hey, as long as he wins.
I'm just kidding. He can throw the ball,
Okay.
but
Well, that makes his decisions a lot easier, though. If you're having to cover, him and also have to watch any read option, that makes his receivers a lot more open.
also if he looks at the first option and it's not there, his option to run the ball is a pretty good option.
yeah. Better than a lot of second options out there.
I wouldn't be shocked if he runs a 4.4 at the combine, whatever that is. Is he a junior?
Sophomore.
Sophomore. So, a couple years, I could see him running the 4.4 or less.
Yeah.
I think after this performance for Bama, they are making a case for them to make it into the playoffs. So if they beat Georgia in the
gotta-
championship,
take care of business.
But
Yeah.
the way their offense went, that was the best I had seen them all season. The defense was doing well, minus the dual threat ability of Jaden Daniels. And I think come playoffs, the quarterbacks are not going to be as dynamic in the dual threat aspect. Like, Georgia's quarterback is not on the same level rushing. Michigan, no. Ohio State, definitely not. I think I think as long as they can keep the quarterbacks a little more focused in the pocket, their defense will do pretty well.
All right. So I'm going to throw an interesting detour in here because we've had several names pop up on this. So the Elite 11 2018 quarterback camp.
You're going to bring that up?
I'm going to bring that up. 2018. So I will tell you, I'll give you some guys that are on this. Jaden Daniels, Max Dugan, Ryan Helinski, Cade McNamara, Graham Mertz, Talia Tagovailoa, Dylan Morris, I think he's playing backup at Washington. Some guy by the name of Bo Nix. And there's another guy on here that's actually not in college anymore, but I feel like he's doing all right. He's playing for Washington, but the other Washington, he's playing for the Commanders. That would be Sam Howell. That's a killer quarterback.
Wasn't Rattler on that list too?
Yeah. Who is the MVP? That's the question. So Elite 11, if you're not familiar with this, they go through. They're playing they're playing flag football essentially. But your team that you're quarterbacking, whoever wins that is the MVP at the end of it.
Okay.
So anybody have a stab at who the MVP was?
Jaden Daniels. No.
Trash.
Don't you?
Wasn't it Rattler?
It was Rattler.
Oh.
And second runner-up was
Bo
Nix.
Yeah. So, but that's, I mean,
Most
just looking
starts
at
in college
that is a killer group of dudes. Like, playing there with Daniels, McNamara, Howell, Mertz, Talia. I mean, that's a.
Is that the same group that Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields were with? I guess that could have been like 2017.
I think that would have been the year before.
Yeah.
Year before was Driscoll was the MVP. Cody Kessler, so probably going the wrong direction there.
Okay.
I think 2012.
Interesting thing about Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, who he played in his first game in college, he has going on 60 starts in the NFL, and Bo Nix is still in college.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think they're going to have, because historically Alabama struggled against dual threat quarterbacks, and I don't think there's
Nick
really
Marshall.
anyone that poses a threat like Deshaun.
This is what's crazy. So that was what year did I give y'all?
2018.
2018. Okay, I'm going the wrong direction on this. So never mind. Keep going. Derailment.
So, Nick, did you want to talk about, since we're the only two Auburn fans here, talk about the Auburn-Vandy game?
I actually didn't watch that game.
What a
Yep.
fan.
I know. I'm an awful fan.
Yeah, that's
I've-
terrible.
I've told myself that the season's been over for like 2 weeks, so
We're playing for next season.
They just need to beat New Mexico State, and they're in the bowl game.
We get to go on the road in Arkansas, who has one SEC win this year. So
Yeah, it was at Florida though.
yeah, but one SEC win.
yeah. Also, didn't Arkansas? Who did they play this past week?
Florida.
Yeah, didn't they beat Florida? Or
At Florida.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that is the one.
oh, okay.
There were
Yeah, but it just happens to be the one right before they play Auburn.
yeah.
So they're on a roll.
I mean, it's not like it's Bielema and Malzahn, but I mean the rivalry's still there. We're gonna want to get payback for last year because those two teams do not like each other at all. I did think it was interesting at the end of the game. You could hear the Auburn chants like clear as day, and if you looked in the bleachers, it was almost all like orange and blue.
Well, when's the last time Vandy actually played a home game? Where they had the
Well, especially
They
when you're
had
so
more
close
fans.
to
a
Alabama.
home SEC game. Excuse me.
Maybe Jay Cutler, man.
And there's a lot of Auburn alum in Nashville as well. So I bet they were ready to go to that game.
Do you know this firsthand?
Yeah, take that for data. What was that?
Both of my cousins, or my cousin and her husband, are Auburn
And
grads, and a lot of
Auburn
people at their
fans.
office
And the
are
governor.
Auburn grads, and the governor, Auburn grad. So you want to take that back, sir?
5 people. All right.
Anyway. But upcoming games, we have Alabama at Kentucky. That's going to be weird seeing Alabama go on the road to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Michigan at Penn State. That's going to be a good game. Tennessee at Missouri. Also a good game. I'm going to pick Missouri to win that one. Utah at Washington. Ole Miss at Georgia.
Ole Miss wins.
USC at Oregon. Is that really even a game?
I think so.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
And then Auburn at Arkansas.
So
That shouldn't be a game,
You,
but
you just throw that in there at the end. Yeah.
I'll have to talk
Is that
about
really
them.
a game?
Yeah, why is that up there?
2 bowl eligible teams, man. Hey.
Yeah,
Teams
well,
suck.
Arkansas is not bowl.
Jesus bowl.
all right. So since next topic is Heisman picks, USC at Oregon, does that decide the Heisman, or is
Penix is still out there.
Caleb Williams.
It's
is
gonna
in
be-
it.
Yeah,
it's
I
over
think
for
Caleb
Caleb,
Williams has lost his chance.
I think-
well,
No, he's
not lost his chance, but it's gone down over the past 2 or 3
So
weeks.
Nix is going to win the Heisman. It's either is it Bo Nix or is it Penix?
Nice.
Thanks.
I
thought of that myself.
I was looking
so it
at
could come down to the rematch then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
If
so.
there is,
that'd be-
if there is a
that'd be
rematch,
good, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think so. Oregon's got to get through USC, which their defense is, I think, infinitely better than USC, who just fired their defense coordinator.
There you go.
So I think they'll be able to contain Caleb Williams better than USC will be able to contain Bo Nix. So I think that's going to be a blowout. Maybe not quite as bad as Cal. And then they got to beat Oregon State, which is not. It's never easy when you're going up against a rival, especially one that's top 16. So that'd be a good game. But I think Oregon goes to the Pac-12 championship and wins, and I think they solidify a spot in the playoff.
I still think I have Washington over them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Washington has just they've just been checking the boxes the whole season for me. I mean, this last game against USC was a little closer than I had expected, but I don't know. I think Washington has a good groove, especially on offense. Their defense is somewhat respectable. I mean,
They did
Caleb
already beat
Williams,
Oregon,
so-
but
yeah,
they beat
I
them
mean-
at home by 3 on a questionable offensive call by former Georgia guy, Dan Lanning.
2 of them.
2 of them. What was the other guy?
No, it was two questionable calls. They went,
Oh,
went
2
for it.
questionable calls.
Fourth down twice in the red zone. They kick a field goal.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a chance they hit one of 3 of those.
So since we're talking about
Field
Knicks-
goals?
No, Knicks and Penix. Do you want to do dark horse picks for Heisman, or do you want to do just picks for Heisman?
I say we go around and do legit picks first, and then we can do a dark horse.
Solid idea, man.
Appreciate it.
The odds for Phoenix just went up as we've been recording.
Phoenix.
I believe it. Who wants to go first?
I mean, I'll take the chalk pick. Phoenix.
Okay.
Penix.
Phoenix. Each his own, man.
What about you, Connor? You want second?
Yeah, I'll take it. I think Bo Picks might get it.
Okay.
I think.
You can leave.
Oh, shouldn't you go for Bo Picks in some way? Auburn fan over here.
No, that's gonna be my pick.
Oh, okay. It's copying.
What did he do the last time he played Alabama?
What did he do? That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Oh, is that when he won?
That is when he won. No,
God.
no, we're not going to bring
He's
that
still
up
in
against
college?
Georgia because that was
Man.
that didn't work out so well against Georgia.
Yeah, that opening. Yeah, I think Oregon. I think a couple of us think that Oregon's going to beat Washington in that rematch, and I think that's going to solidify him over Penix in the Heisman race. I think it's between them two. So that's what I think.
Geek, do you have a pick?
I know who I want to win. I don't know. I feel like
Who do you want to win?
when he leaves Auburn, does the jinx still go with him? I mean, You know,
I don't know.
the bad luck. I don't know. I want Bo to win. I mean, we'll go Bo.
All right, Nick. Did you say somebody already?
I have not. I'll go the non-QB route and do Marvin Harrison.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you think he's having a Devontae Smith-like season?
No. I do think he's been dominant in every game. I thought none of it has been on him. It's been more on quarterback play. And so I think he has almost 900 yards right now. I think could have been higher, could have been more touchdowns. I think there's always going to be a non-QB position that's up there, and I also just hate that it's almost always a quarterback.
Well, it's the lay of the land.
It is.
Shut up, Siri or Google.
Connor, cut that out.
Yeah, please, please.
What about you? Or that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Moving on to Dark Horse.
So one quick thing on that. So both Nix and McNamara, which nobody mentioned McNamara, are on pace to break the completion percentage record for college football this year.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Burrow that has that?
Yeah, it was Mac, and then Burrow beat that the following year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both guys are over 78% right now. I think Burrow was at 77 something.
So if we're going dark horse, we just going outside top 5 odds.
That's fine.
Fine by me.
All right. Georgia remains undefeated. Carson Beck lights up the world without Brock Bowers.
Is that your pick?
That's my pick.
So now that the wrong answers are out of the way.
I just said Marvin Harrison, so.
Yeah, you picked somebody outside the top 5 for your Heisman.
That's fine.
So your dark horse could be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to say Caleb Williams just because it's the obvious answer. I don't foresee it happening. It would take him, like, lighting up Oregon and then just, like, killing it the next 2 games for him to get it.
Definitely be a stat award if he got it.
Yeah. When was the last time the Heisman was won by somebody not on, like, a top 10 team?
Good
So you
question.
got Johnny Manziel. It might be Johnny
Yeah,
Manziel.
I think it might, yeah.
Because they were,
It might
like,
have been
9
top
and
10.
something.
I don't know. Like in championship contention, though, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think that's probably the last time that was somebody not in championship contention.
I mean, back in the day, you had guys from Houston and BYU that were winning it that, had no chance of, finishing in the top 10. But
Yeah. So Nick, who is your dark horse?
Is 1 second.
I'll give mine while Nick's looking.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Jalen Milrow.
That was my other.
That's what I was gonna say.
You
Since
can
we're
still
doing
say it.
Carson Beck, I was like, well, Jalen Monroe too, running back.
Is Jordan Travis top 5?
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like he has. To
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
he is
I was
number
looking
5.
at that too, but I mean, him and JJ McCarthy, which
I just don't see.
that's so weird. At his, I mean,
He's not gonna get it just because of all the stuff that Michigan has going on.
yeah, I
That's
think
fair.
and
he's
that kind of
considered
stinks
up there,
for
though.
somebody that's not a part of that. That's been putting their all this effort into playing quarterback. Then he's not gonna get a shot because of that.
I was also confusing my McNamara and McCarthy. There's too many Macs.
McNamara was last year's
Yeah.
quarterback. Dylan Gabriel, maybe. Travis Hunter. Shadur. Throw up the watch.
Yeah,
Shadur.
We'll say Shadur just because of just because of the publicity.
If they were giving out the award for most diamond watches, he'd win it.
That's right.
Actually, no, he probably lost it
Because they
at the Rose Bowl.
robbed. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, I think we can move on to the NFL. So the Kyler Murray versus Call of Duty.
Leading off with that.
I think
All right,
so.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think it's all in the past. I think he is coming back to prove himself this week, because I think he's come to the realization that if they don't start winning, they're going to look for a new quarterback. Because right now they're sitting 1-7, 1-8.
yeah.
So I mean they're right there at the first draft picks. So why not move on from a guy and try and get some capital back and restart? I also think that they need a lot of other positions if they're looking at the team, but I think the Cardinals are going to get the dub.
So interesting. If you going back to 2019, he has had a winning record or an even record prior to the release of the new Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
Post the release of the new Call of Duty, in 2019 he went 2-7. In 2020 he went 3-5, and in 21 he went 2-4. And before he had a winning record every time.
He's matured.
The only good
Very
news
right.
is he doesn't have a winning record before this release. So
Ooh.
Okay. Clean
see.
slate.
Yeah. And an off season to focus.
That's right.
The crazy thing is the number of just Googling the number of graphs and things around this.
Some people that put a lot of
that it-
effort into this.
Like the fact that, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. The fact that there's so much statistical analysis, it's easy for you to say, is just crazy. Like, because I've never heard anybody else like compared with something like that. The only thing that would be close would be like Sean Alexander on primetime TV,
Or-
like his performance if he's playing on primetime versus just a noon game.
Or Rajon Rondo.
Or Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or James Harden after the strip
Well,
club.
Sean's actually went up, though,
I don't
so
know, I
I'm
think he
giving
goes
Sean
up.
credit. He,
Okay.
if he played prime time, he was balling out. You know,
Oh,
he
okay,
went great,
interesting, yeah.
but you know, like what's happening to you the rest of the time? But you know, this is the other way around.
Yeah, he's also probably the only person ever to have a clause in his contract about the amount of time he can play.
Well, so
or,
they announced that and then quickly rescinded
Yes.
that after all the bad publicity that they received.
they should have kept it.
I was gonna say I don't. What's
It's
the
like-
if you were at work and you were playing Call of Duty, would you get a clause or just fired?
Yeah, true.
And they're not paying you millions of dollars.
Well, I wish. It would be funny if they did to Kyler what the Patriots did to Gronk, and they sent him home with some film. And it's
That-
like, or no, who
That
was
was
that?
Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, Jamarcus Russell. Yeah. Why did I think it was Gronk?
They sent him home with it like had 2 pages in the playbook, like had nothing on the rest of the pages.
It's like, did you watch it? It's like, yeah, I did. It was great.
I mean, Call of Duty's not even that good of a video game.
Oh,
So, like,
yeah.
can we just put our time elsewhere, you know?
Says the guy that plays Fortnite.
Pick a better video game? Madden?
Like Fortnite?
Fortnite? You like Fortnite?
It's fun.
Josh Dobbs to the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up like the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Did not take any reps in practice with this team. He could not name a bunch of players on the team.
The center,
He couldn't name
some
the
of his
center.
receivers.
And they literally had to practice his cadence on the sidelines before he went in.
Wow.
And when the starter got a concussion. And he's the first player to have consecutive 3 touchdown passing games for 2 different teams. Nobody else has done that. So
Interesting.
he had 3 with the Cards last week, and they had 3 with the Vikes this week. This is the second year in a row that we've had somebody do something like this. To lead a game-winning drive after just showing up. Last year was Baker Mayfield on primetime TV. But I mean, if anybody could do it, was him. He was an aerospace engineer major at Tennessee with a 4.0 GPA.
Wow.
As a football player.
That's impressive.
And he's just playing. I mean, yes, you have like the different like phrases and words that you use when you get a new playbook.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're just playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out and balled out. Sorry, Reese.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, he did great. He stepped up into that position like a vet, basically, and he led that team to the win. He put everything on his back. I saw multiple highlights of him, like 3rd and 13 on the 20-yard line. First downs at like the 5, and he scrambles. Nobody's open. Runs down on the sideline, and then takes a hit at the line to go for the first down. So
I mean, it's crazy. Teams will do like hours and hours of practice on a 2-minute drill. Like, but they're doing it with their team, with their guys, with guys that they've had rapport with. And you, like what Baker Mayfield did last year and what Dobbs did this year, the 2-minute drill is like the hardest thing to do.
But you see guys succeed in that all the time because now you're not thinking, you're just playing. And I just wonder if there's somebody that's going to come along and do some sort of analysis of, I don't know how you would analyze this, but when there is no pressure on you. I mean, he comes in that situation, there's no pressure. You just go make
There's
plays.
no
If
expectations.
If you lose, you're supposed to because it's just, an insurmountable circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's get into it, shall we?
All right. The floor is yours, Reese. What do you got? I'll just sit
Kyle
back and-
Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, the last 3 years, all top 10 picks. There was an instance in which Atlanta got the ball on the Vikings 1-yard line. There was a penalty to bring it back to the 6. Lindstrom, great offensive lineman. Can't blame him there, just trying to play the game, playing it tough. So we're starting on the 6, right? I just told you all the guys they drafted.
Yep.
Taylor
Well-
Heineke.
London was out, so
No. 2 of them are still playing, though. Eligible to play. Heineke passes to Jonnu Smith for 5 yards. Heineke does an end around to Jonnu Smith. Then they use Tyler Algier up the middle.
Undrafted.
Can you figure out 2 guys that weren't named in any of those plays? And they followed it up with a 23-yard field goal. Not using those guys is a borderline fireable offense.
Do I have to put money in the jar if I say Kyle Pitts? I didn't
No,
hear Kyle Pitts.
it's
Okay.
fine. Yeah,
All right.
fine. I will. But it's just insane, dude. And that was. I mean, I got a 2-pronged attack right here. That was just one. They were missing KJ Osborne. Cam Akers ended up tearing his Achilles. Hate to hear that. Their starting left tackle was out. They had a starting quarterback in place for Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs got thrown in the fire, like y'all just said, and they still won. So that's my piece. Heart attack every Sunday. Not fun. Should be fun, but not.
Hey, but y'all are going to win this week.
I just hope y'all find a quarterback like the Texans have found.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, you go off, man.
Hey.
I hope we do too, man.
What are the chances the Falcons get Bo Nix?
Anybody else, really? I mean,
Wow.
anybody else. I thought it was going to change this week, but no.
Is that the play calling or is that the decision making at the quarterbacks?
I would say it's probably play calling.
I mean, you're seeing it with 2 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And it's not like Heineke just is going to have a special chemistry with Jonnu Smith, you know?
The one thing I would say is with Jonnu and with Algier, they're in practice, they're probably second team.
yeah. Well,
So-
John is a second, but yeah. I agree.
So, but
yeah.
Heineke probably has more of a rapport with Algier in the passing game than Bijan and a rapport with Jonnu.
Because he's taking second
Over
team
Pitts.
reps.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
that's my. I don't know what to say about Ritter.
Yeah,
That you have.
in the first 8 weeks.
Yeah, you have no excuses for that. Although I take that back. Because last year he would have been the second guy, and so he's had more reps with Jonu and Algier than.
Yeah, but he would have had a whole preseason, 8 weeks. I mean, he started giving London good amount of targets every game, but Pitts was still fluctuating between like 2 and 6. So it wasn't ever consistent play. And then you've seen with Bijan the past few weeks, he had that headache issue where he had 1 touch.
I think he played a total of like 11 snaps.
Yeah. And then this past week, he had maybe 15 touches. But I mean, they were still giving Algier the ball, which I think Algier is a good back. But if you have Bijan, you should give the ball to him.
Yeah. Get some momentum going. And that's what I don't get. Some people who are casuals would say, well, what if Kyle Pitts and Bijan aren't good? That's just not right.
That's not true.
We saw what Kyle Pitts did when he got the chances. What did he get? Second to only Mike Ditka and rookie tight end receiving yards. Bijan's been electric every time he's been given the chance.
How about them Cowboys, by the way?
I
had to throw that in there.
So if you wanted to go conspiracy here, you could say one Arthur Smith might be betting against the Falcons. Just saying.
It's interesting to see what different quarterbacks favor as far as position groups who they throw to. Like Mahomes, obviously, when you have a talent like Travis Kelce, like he's going to be open. Yeah. But like Tony Romo would always throw a lot to the tight end. Dak Prescott, we saw this week.
Yep.
He likes to throw to a tight end a lot. I'm just curious what the difference is and why the Falcons aren't able to like push for something like that. You have 2 good tight ends. Like Jonnu Smith is good.
Yeah, no, he is a good. And I'm not saying I think Mac Hollins, Jonnu Smith, and Algier are all good NFL players. But if you got guys that are a step above,
they're great 2s at their spots.
Tremendous.
They could be
Probably
ones
the best 2s at their spot.
Yeah, they could be ones at certain places, but
I will say if you ask me who would you rather have in the open field with the ball, Algier or Robinson, I'll take Robinson 10 times out of 10.
Yep.
If you ask me Kyle Pitts or Jonnu Smith with
Kyle
the ball and the open field, I think Kyle Pitts is going to get extra yardage 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Just because he's that much of a freak athlete. Same thing with Bijan.
And John is a freak athlete as well, but I mean, it's like breakaway speed, and I mean, Kyle Pitts has it. And that's the thing that puzzles me because I know London was on the right track before Ritter got benched, but that still doesn't. The first 6-7 weeks of the year, you said every quarterback favors their position. He didn't favor any of those guys. Like I get if he was just throwing the ball to London, to Bijan, or to Pitts. None of them.
Ritter favored the turf monster. He kept coughing it up.
Yeah, that was incredible.
How do you
6 turnovers in 2 games?
how?
Yeah.
That's a lot of Falcons.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we can go on. Sorry. It's like a therapy
all
session.
of y'all watch the Cowboys game?
Cowboys, or
Eagles.
Yeah. No.
Make up your mind.
I didn't.
I thought it was a good game. I think, one, you can never put an entire game on officiating, but there were a few calls in there that went Philly's way that if they went the Cowboys' way instead, it's the difference in the game. Also, there was, you're on the goal line the first time and you don't get it. And then you have the chance at the end to make a play and you throw it out of the end zone. But
one of those, going back to kind of Reese's analogy, so the one that got stopped at the goal line, you go to your rookie tight end?
Not even your rookie tight end, your backup rookie tight end.
Yeah.
But he had been going to non-starters the entire game. Turpin got a touchdown. Tolbert got a touchdown. Schoonmaker, he looked at him to get a touchdown. But because at that point, CD had 150 yards receiving, so they're probably doubling up on him. But even if they're doubling him up, why not go to Ferguson, who's already got a touchdown in the game?
Or
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks,
or
right?
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
I know I probably fall into the Dak Prescott apologist category, but I feel like he outplayed Jalen Hurts that game, and it was everything else outside of Dak that was the reason that we didn't win.
That's a fair assessment.
How did Tony Pollard do?
He's been
What's the deal with him?
so when Kellen Moore left or got shipped off to the Chargers, I think he had a much higher run percentage call than McCarthy, and you don't have Zeke.
Yeah.
As good as or the backup running back that we have is Rico Dowdle, who's he's good when you get him touches, but he's never going to be someone that you trust enough like Zeke on first and second down to just go out and get 3, 4, 5 yards. And the change of pace going from somebody like Zeke that's going to get you those yards to a home run hitter like Tony. If you're having to be a home run hitter every game or every play, one, you're going to get gassed, and two, they're going to flood the box to try and slow you down. So
Kind of goes back to your thing earlier about like relying on one guy versus relying on two.
I really think they should have pushed more for Derrick Henry at the trade deadline, because could you imagine that? Because then Mike McCarthy can, instead of doing the Texas Coast offense that he's trying to do, he could kind of migrate to do more play action. Because if you had to stop Derrick Henry for first, second, third down, and then they get a first down, oh, we're going to throw Tony Pollard in, by the way, and we're going to fake a sweep, so you got to pay attention to him.
Yeah.
And then hit you with the play action, just using him as like a distraction. And then on third down or whatever down it is, he gets a 20, 30-yard run. Like,
Yeah.
and right now it's been Pollard, and he's just not able to get into a rhythm.
It's like Darren Sproles is kind of a home run hitter as well, but you would never hand the keys to the entire backfield to him. You always got to have like a Pierre Thomas like he had, or just someone in the fold.
So I wouldn't be shocked if they go for. They'd probably want to sign somebody. I don't see them drafting in the first 3 rounds at running back, and I don't know that there'd be anybody after that that would be worthy of that kind of attention.
Because what are y'all paying him, and when's his contract up?
So we did the
Franchise
tag, which is $11 million. So next year it's going to go up,
Yeah, they won't franchise him again. I don't see that.
and they probably won't re-sign him
Yeah,
unless he wants to take a pay cut.
which is unlikely.
Especially with all the attention that running backs have been getting in free agency about not being paid. So,
I can see them being a team that drafts like a Judkins.
in like a second.
Yeah. 'Cause even like the late first, the difference between top 10 money and, 20 through 32 money is a big difference. But I think the way the contract is, a 5th year, you would lose a 5th year if you were a second rounder.
Yeah.
So if you can get him at the top of the second.
What was Deuce Vaughn? What round was he? 4?
4th or 5th. I would like to see them use him more. Because it's a different kind of a change of pace where with Zeke and Pollard, you're going from Zeke who's kind of slow to Pollard. But if you had those two on the field, you go from fast to like next level kind
Yeah.
of quickness.
Yeah, fast
that's
to
like
faster.
a freaking bullet.
It'd be like the Dolphins almost.
Oh, man. I can't wait for
With
that team
H-in?
to get back.
I just love how explosive that offense was.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Even Mostert, the guy's, 30, 31 years old?
31.
And he still had one of the fastest runs this season. Like, dude is built for speed.
Yeah. See, we could talk a lot about the Cowboys, too.
Yeah.
Just one big therapy session this is.
Yeah. You never want to take a loss, but as far as losses go, you're on the road in Philadelphia. You've been playing indoors like all season.
Yep.
So you go to Philadelphia when it's just starting to get cold, and you got Philly fans that are literal trash and hobos off the street. Don't at me, Philly. I think it's as far as losses go, it's one that you can build off of because there's a lot of good.
It's a lot better than the Cardinals.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a 5-point loss, right?
Yeah.
23
On the road.
Yeah. So.
To
Well,
the
and-
team
and
with
if-
the best Super Bowl odds.
The best roster in the league by far, I think. I mean,
And if Dak doesn't step out early on the 2-point conversion, that's
It's
a
a
field goal
field goal
game, and
that
it goes.
Aubrey
into,
hasn't missed it
and
all
it goes
year.
into overtime.
That was a tough call. Oh, I saw the replay.
I mean, he
of
was
that.
out.
Yeah.
That was a correct call,
But like he,
If I'm him, you gotta like
He would've-
super
yes,
can it. You just gotta
yes.
dive, like go all out. But
when's,
things
when's
to
the
look
last time
forward
you played quarterback?
oh man, that was years
Sixth
ago.
grade.
That was before that.
middle school QB action. Okay.
never.
I threw one interception, and the coach was like, "Yep, no, thank you."
I played in flag football, won the
say-
championship.
So
You
I
were
was
the
a flag
QB?
quarterback.
I was called Peyton Manning sometimes, but that's just me.
Whoa.
You,
Weird
you
flex,
were good
but
at flag,
okay.
You were good at flag football. Right?
Yeah.
Flag football was
like-
awesome.
10 or
So was
9.
your non-athletic older brother. So
Yeah. Wow. Anyway,
But it's all the same.
so resident Bills fan over here.
That's me. Yes.
What you got?
It was pretty iffy. The Bengals they're back. I think we can, after beating the 49ers, they beat us. I mean, I love Josh Allen. I want him to run it more, sort of. Like he's making some iffy pass attempts. Obviously his turnovers. He only threw one interception during the game, but that throw
5
was
consecutive games with
yeah,
interceptions.
Yeah, it's bad. But also there's a couple things during the game. It's not the reason we lost or anything, but I think there was the intentional grounding. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yep.
That intentional grounding was terrible.
It was one of those option routes where
Yeah.
the
just
wide
ran the
receiver
wrong
can
way.
go deep or they can do a little curl.
Yeah.
And before he hit that moment, he was already throwing it deep, and the guy did the curl. And so
And
it's
it put us just out of field goal range, and he was not getting sacked or anything. They just called it. And also there was this one is just for like all NFL fans. With I think Josh Allen was scoring a rushing touchdown, and he like pointed at a guy taunting him,
Oh, I
and they
saw
called
that.
that.
That's
I'm
kinda
like,
stupid.
that was weak.
I mean, if it's a no fun league, I mean, jeez, but
Yeah.
this is terrible.
So you can throw up peace signs behind you, but you can't point.
Yeah,
at
I
it.
know.
Hey, the
Like-
Josh Allen, that was sick.
Yeah, yeah. And he was like laughing. It wasn't like a.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It's Josh Allen. Like, jeez.
Um,
But, I mean, Dalton Kincaid, he's looking good. I know he had that fumble, which was kind of like, that really gutted us, but
Yeah.
he's just looking great. So that's, good for the future. But yeah, we just need to keep winning. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
I feel like if it was anybody else playing like Josh Allen's been playing, like throwing all these interceptions, I feel like he'd get a lot more crap from the media. Because if this was Dak Prescott, he would be talked about ad nauseum. Like the entire time, they would just talk about how terrible he is. But for some reason, with Josh Allen, they just don't talk about it like that.
That's what happens when you're America's team, man.
I guess so.
Bright lights. Buffalo, they've lost so much that it's like you just gotta love them,
Yeah.
Anything good going.
4
for
Super
'em.
Bowls in a row. And
They're
it's-
they're
to
the
the
middle,
God.
middle child. That's what they are.
Partially.
okay.
Hey, hey, thinking.
Stop making those faces over there.
I have to worry about who might be listening to this. So.
Tell us about your boy, man. The next
one?
Peyton Manning. Which one? James Harden, his first game's
You've
going
been
on right now.
waiting
We'll
to talk
skip
about
James
it this
Harden.
I
entire
mean,
game.
there was also Tank Dell who had a phenomenal game. CJ breakout game. Hopefully he can continue it. But he did a fantastic job spreading it out. I saw that there was 3 people that had over 100 yards receiving. So that great, especially when you consider who he's throwing it to. And there was no run game. I think there were 12 or 13 carries for about 20 yards. So our whole offense was put on CJ's shoulder. Yeah, Damian Pierce was out, but he stepped up against a team that has also played well so far this season, the Bucks, considering how people thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
They
But-
definitely overperformed.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm loving everything I'm seeing out of him. He has poise and he's throwing some great passes. It makes me happy. Go
Feel
Texans.
good, man.
Feel
good.
feels
I wouldn't
great.
know, but yeah, no.
You'll find it one
Really
day.
missing Matty
You'll-
Ice right now, but you know.
How do you perform like that, but then lose to the Panthers? How does that happen?
Well, hey, we don't. Shh,
Hey, growing
that's in the
pains,
past.
growing pains.
Y'all lost to the Cardinals.
Yeah, dude, that's a Trump card right there.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So last week's game was the first time ever that there was a game played involving the top 3 picks in that year's draft. So Anderson,
Stroud
Wow.
and
Stroud.
Young.
and Young.
That's interesting.
I
Well-
guess it's the first time that you've had 2 top picks, like 1 and 3 or 1 and 2 or
Uh-huh.
2 and 3.
But speaking of Anderson, the way they traded with the Cardinals to get that pick, I mean, seriously, the Cardinals have every reason to go in on a Caleb Williams, a Drake May, whoever you want at 1, because they're in line to have the first pick right now.
Yep.
If Kyler doesn't realize that and put down the controller, like, come on, brother.
I still think the Falcons win this week.
Which either way, you got to be kind of happy. Either Kyler does well or the Falcons win. So
Yeah, well, yeah, because I got the Cardinals in my win pool. You know,
there you go.
so
And
yeah.
I have the Falcons. So hey, let's
look
go
at us,
Falcons.
man. Yeah, rise up.
Upcoming games of note: 49ers at Jaguars will be a good game.
Yep.
I'm going, not just because I'm rooting for it, but I'm going to predict that the skid continues for the Niners, and they lose at Jacksonville.
I think so too. I think Trevor bounces back. He's
I
had a
think
rough start of the year.
California teams just don't play well in Jacksonville, like LA last year in the playoffs.
That's right.
I'm gonna say Niners by like 10.
They just can't handle Florida men.
Not many people can.
No, no.
Hey,
Texans at Bengals. I think that could be an interesting one.
it's a fun game.
Yeah.
I would not be terribly surprised if the Texans made that a game. I know it's on the road, but I could see that coming down to fourth quarter. It may not be close when it's all said and done, but I could see it being a 1 possession game going into the fourth.
I could see that. I hate how hot the Bengals are right now as a Texans fan going into this week, but they also struggle on their O-line, so hopefully Will Anderson can put pressure on Joe Burrow and everyone else. So, and if we can stop the run game, that will put even more pressure. But Joe Burrow also had a great game of spreading it around. So they
Just
don't
not
have,
Jamar Chase.
yeah, just not Jamar Chase.
Thank
T.
goodness.
Higgins had over 100 receiving yards.
Yep.
Jamar
About time,
Chase
yeah.
didn't really do much. I mean, I'm glad he's finally getting into it. I think Jamar Chase got hurt, did he not?
Yeah,
He had a
back
back.
slap,
some-
did he?
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, he had a bad fall where he just landed like straight on his lower back.
I think CJ's going to put up numbers because in all likelihood they're going to play from behind at some point. So they're going to play catch up, and his passing stats are going to be right up there.
Good stuff.
How's y'all's running back doing? I forgot his name.
Awful. Damian Pierce, he was
Yeah, he had
hurt
a
this
good-
past week.
He had a good rookie year. That's why I was.
Yeah.
Great
haven't heard of
rookie
him.
year. But now he's averaging less than 3 yards a carry. Devin Singletary has started getting some touches as well.
Jeez.
But he had less than 2 yards a carry this past week. I don't know if we've given up on it and just put everything on CJ. But I think that needs to be a point, if it's not this year, next year, of establishing a run game. Because you have to have some sort of run game.
So y'all are probably going to have a fairly high pick.
We don't have a first rounder.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cardinals, man.
that's
Yep.
right. That's right.
Good news though.
Now,
It's a passing league.
could
Yes, sir.
could you imagine Judkins in the second round to the Texans?
But Damien's not bad though. That's
No,
the thing. I just don't know what's.
You don't think they go that high? You think they go for more offensive, defensive line help?
Offensive line, maybe a wide receiver. I hope we sign a veteran free agent in the offseason. Give them the big contract that they want because we need that focal point.
Trade Devontae there, please.
I was trying to think, what if Brandon Cooks came back?
Give us
That-
T. Give us T.
Mm,
Higgins.
No,
back, man.
that would actually be a really
Yeah.
good one. T. Higgins. He needs a better situation because he's too talented to be number 2 on, on that team. Giants at Cowboys. The question is,
Cowboys.
Slaughter. Yeah.
how many points do the Cowboys score? At what point does
50.
Cooper come into the game? Is it before or after halftime?
Mid-third.
I'll say after halftime, like maybe
Like
second
third quarter?
drive,
Third
second
quarter?
drige of the second half.
I'm putting that in here. I want to see that.
Yeah, because they're gonna be up 30,
I almost wonder.
33 at half.
See, this scares me because this is what we were talking about with the Cardinals. Like, during
Okay,
that.
Okay, let's
Like-
take it back. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be super close.
Who's their quarterback?
Tommy DeVito.
Sounds like some guys off Goodfellas. Like,
On yes.
was that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito.
So he
If
had.
y'all can't beat Tommy DeVito.
Well, actually, he threw pretty well this past week. He had 175 passing yards, but he also
better than I
had
could
2
do.
interceptions.
They do play in Jersey. You don't know what type of connections he's got.
That's right.
with a name like that,
I bet he knows Danny.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, it's I wonder how much pressure they're gonna put on Saquon for this next, I guess, half of the season.
Man,
Just like 3 down, like
It,
play after play.
yeah,
poor guy.
and then they're not gonna give him a contract extension.
Well, yeah,
Now,
what they're going to do is they're going to like work him to the bone, and then they're going to be like, "Yep, you don't get any money for that."
Yeah.
tough luck, man.
But I think the end result score is going to be a lot closer than like what we predicted the Cardinals game was going to be. Like, I don't think it's going to be them getting 50. It's going to be like them getting like 38 and then just like slowing down and just putting it in cruise.
So, what do you think the spread is gonna be?
Gosh.
Because I say 30s on the low side.
So, yeah, I'm sitting there going, you just came off a game with the Eagles. You're gonna. There's gonna be a. I'm not saying they're gonna lose, but this is gonna be a letdown game.
No, it was a close loss to the Eagles. They need a win. Is it at the Giants or at Dallas?
It's at Dallas.
It's at Dallas
I'm
Yeah,
just,
but-
I'm just scared.
No.
I'm
by
sorry.
30.
Do you
I got
want?
it 38-13.
Do you want to know the spread?
Yeah,
It's 16.
16.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
I was thinking right with you. I was going to say 38-10. I say
20 plus.
I was just gonna say they're gonna get a weird touchdown,
Yeah.
old Tommy, and
Yeah.
then they're gonna kick a couple field goals, and that's
they
about
they
it.
might get like
So,
a special teams touchdown and then just get in field goal range and get one.
Dallas is going to have a defensive touchdown this week.
I hope they do.
what
I got
odds
them.
on that? Yeah. -110.
An interesting fact coming into the Eagles game: Deron Bland had as many interceptions for a touchdown as Devontae Smith had catches for a touchdown. And then Devontae got one, so
Yeah.
on Deron Bland, so it was like insult to injury there.
Oh, nice.
I don't know that this is a game, but Broncos at Bills. Are you worried, Connor?
I mean,
That could be an
they've
interesting
also-
one.
I mean, the Broncos beat the Chiefs.
True.
I mean, it's at, I would assume, Buffalo. Yeah, okay. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll start kind of like weird in the first quarter, maybe. Josh Allen just needs to get some good completions. He needs to, I think, look for Kincaid. Keep looking for Kincaid. Looking for those like middle deep route or middle medium routes, kind of like Patty does with Kelsey. Definitely needs to look for Diggs a little bit more.
What happened to Knox?
He has surgery. I forget what it was, but he should be back in like 4 weeks or something, or
This-
maybe sooner.
This year's tight end class has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With
Laporta,
Laporta, Kincaid,
Michael
the guy
Mayer,
is he at
the Raiders.
the Raiders? Or
And
am I
then
thinking?
the Green
he's-
Bay is Musgrove.
Musgrave. Yeah.
Musgrave, yeah.
I mean, you got 4 tight ends that could be like staples for years to come.
Yeah. The line on that game is Buffalo minus 7.5. I think it'll be close. I think they're finally getting Javonte, taking the training wheels
should have
off
done
of him. And they're,
Yep.
Can't wait to see what he can do with consistent full workload.
And Russell Wilson's been getting a lot of crap for somebody who's not having a bad year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep seeing QB comparisons between him and Pat, and it's like they're very comparable numbers.
So,
This
I mean,
year, yeah,
all right.
Pat's
66
struggled for
completion
his
percentage, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that looks like next to next to the Bills quarterback, who's Josh Allen. Golly. Let's see what Josh Allen.
Honors
It's
firstborn.
the time change.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Well, also you have to put into perspective. Josh Allen will have a lot more rush yards than Russell Wilson. He
Well-
will have rushing touchdowns.
So Josh's completion percentage is actually 71%.
Mm-hmm.
18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, though.
His catch completion rate to Kincaid sits at almost 90%.
It's so good. I mean, his reception and targets are like, I think it was 8 receptions, something like that. It was like 8 receptions last night. I think there was only one target that was missed. He's just kind of always open, kind of like Kelsey in a way, just in the middle of the field, just open.
He went 10 for 11.
Yeah, I love it.
He's 40 receptions on 45 targets.
He'd be good to have in fantasy football.
Stud. Yeah, he's 15th in PPR.
I mean, yeah, he started like last week, like the past 3 weeks since Knox got hurt.
Well, I think that's all for this week. Thank y'all for tuning in, and don't forget to check us out next week.
Like and subscribe. Follow.
Nice.